Hey you, so on this video, don't buy the gold to silver ratio at 19 to 1. I just wanted to talk on the gold to silver ratio. I've been asked a few times now what my thoughts were on the current 90, well I wouldn't say it's all time high, I'm not too sure myself, on what I thought about that and whether I'm buying silver over gold now that the ratio's this gigantic 90 to 1 in favor of silver. So I've just titled this video that just to give my few points. I've done many videos similar to this in the past, but you know, it was just where I'm currently at answering the many people that have asked me on whether I'm favoring silver purchases over gold purchases right now. So before I get into this, I want to tell everybody and anybody that isn't subscribed to go ahead and do that. And also leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments on your views and opinions on what I'm going to bring up and whether you feel the same or whether you feel, if there's any information you feel I don't know and need to know in the comments, go ahead and do that. And just leave them in the comments and let me know your thoughts and opinions on what I'm going to be speaking on. So regarding the gold to silver ratio currently at time of releasing this video at 90 to 1. What do I think about that? Well, speaking from my own personal perspective here, from all, and I'm showing a pot of silver I've got here, from all of my silver purchases, I mean from the day when I bought my very first ounce, I personally have never ever purchased on the state of the ratio. So whether I couldn't tell you what the ratio was when I purchased my first ounce to what the ratio was when I purchased my last bulk silver. I think I done a video 100 ounces I picked up, or 50 ounces odd. And if you notice in a lot of the videos at the time, I'm not really speaking on what the ratio is at the time. What I mainly focus on is the price. That's all I care about. Now, what I see is the price is detached from the ratio. The ratio is another aspect to the metals. Obviously, I believe it's to do with how one is pulled out. So, you know, for every 1 ounce of gold, 90 ounces of silver and so forth. But this is also an area that I don't really fully understand. I've never looked into it because it's never been of interest to me. Once again, I'm purely focused on the price and what that currently is and whether it's to my liking. That's how I've always approached picking up gold or silver, what the current spot price is. And I'll speak on why and how I don't see it in direct connection with the price relating to what the gold to silver ratio is in a moment. So for me, no purchase have ever been made over what the current gold to silver ratio is. So I'm not going to pick up now because, you know, for 90 ounces of silver, I can get 1 ounce of gold. Many people and myself have stated in the past, I'm taking premiums and stuff like that. And also some things I'm going to be bringing up can also play a big role and dictate on what the price is. So I've never paid, that's my viewpoint answering that big one question on what I think about that. I pay no attention to it. And I'm going to give 3 big major questions out there, also a few points on why I think some people could benefit from not doing that. Now, once again, if you're an absolute ratio purchaser, please let me know in the comments how you go about doing that, and I'll just leave some points here. So touching upon why I've never really looked at the ratios, because from what I see here, and I'll break in one of the main first things I'll say, and obviously I'll put the question out there, and the first question is going to be, I see silver stackers being highly emotional, very emotional and somewhat defensive. So a silver stacker, i.e. could be a silver pumper, in that you have individuals out there as opposed to gold pumpers that you can clearly indicate and point out and say that person there is a prominent silver pumper slash stacker. You know, they stack silver mainly, or they're a major advocate of purely silver. And, you know, they could bash gold. And a lot of the times when they fall into the pumper category, it's because they also sell it. But it's with these head figures that lead a lot of the regurgitation out there. One of the major regurgitations, nothing wrong with it if it works in your favor, or if you like what you hear and you can build from there, then albeit. But it's that if you want more gold, you should be stacking more silver. And this is where the ratio comes into play, because, you know, for every 90 ounces of silver right now is 1 ounce of gold. So when the ratio drops, you can then convert and flip that. So why I say they're over emotional is because you find them following the Pied Piper's tune of that gold to silver ratio example. And then when other people speak it and also plan on purchasing off that gold to silver ratio, game plan, I feel it's also can be very harmful, because one of the other things I'll be bringing up. But buying purely off of the basis of that is where I see a problem, because let's say, for instance, you're going to be purchasing a load of silver now and then go to convert. And this is a problem I don't think a lot of people may look into. If we're looking at the gold to silver ratio currently at 90-1, spot price is up. So it's not really connected to, you can't really say whenever spot price is down, the ratio goes up. So we could easily say it's easily not connected to the current spot price of metals. Now, the danger I see in that, and what I see in many markets when you've got all these people, foreseeing what's going to happen, is I think they all speak hogwash to a degree, and they can only preach to the choir that's listening to them, because from what I've seen, and history states, no one can call what it's going to be. Hands down. This is why I stopped listening to a lot of them a long time ago. What these forecasters are good at doing is maybe giving you a reason for why it's happened once it's happened. In terms of them calling it like, once the ratio is 40, the big 40 or 30, you're able to go out to whichever dealer it is, your local coin store or wherever, convert it and get that. I personally can't see that happening. Once again, I'm banking on silver, so I would love for this to be absolutely wrong. And by all means, I most definitely can be wrong, just given my thought chain process at the moment. So calling it as simple as a walkthrough like that could be a major issue, because we could have a scenario where you have a 40-1, 30-1 silver spot drop. Everybody now goes and acts upon this gameplay where, whoever first pushed it out there, I believe Mahoney was one of them, Dwayne, two guys I absolutely love. I appreciate what they've done for the metals and do appreciate their work, so I'm not bashing them. But, it spawns many others out there that regurgitate and create their own content from there. But we could have a situation, and it's just as possible as well as any other situation, where you can find an ounce of gold costing $5,000, £4,000, and an ounce of silver being, anywhere $20, £15. Could be highs from where we currently are. That is totally possible. This is something a lot of people ain't understanding or seeing. So when you get that magic ratio, you could have gold absolutely tear away from silver. And the main purpose of this video is me basically saying why you should be buying both, but do a lot of research into both. Not just take upon the research that a lot of these stackers / pumpers who do have a vested interest in terms of selling, whether you like it or not. If somebody's selling the metal, there's no way of smoothing it out. For all you know, Chris Dwayne has sold throughout his whatever his silver range is called, could be making them from his own silver stocks. For all you know, anything is possible. For all you know, as long as they're selling it, you have to take whatever they're saying with a pinch of salt. But you can find a scenario where gold is $5,000, £4,000, and silver is at $20. It's rose, hasn't it? But now you're going to do this magic, conversion when it's 1:30. The gold silver ratios, let's imaginary talk here. The gold silver ratios 30-1, 40-1. It wasn't like that last time, I know, but the point I'm trying to make is it's never the same. History can repeat itself if you say so. There's so many factors to take into account. Once upon a time, the talk was, the climate would never accept or take a Trump presidency. We're going to see a crash. Metals are going to skyrocket. If there's one thing certain that we can all agree on here and everybody talks about, is that the metals are manipulated. Yes, I can totally agree to that. But it's also that I would say they could keep this game forever. They're not running out of no time soon. Yes, you may want it to end soon. Yes, you may see the criminality going on. Yes, you may know it's not right. But no, with Trump as president, the end to corruption doesn't seem near. It seems like this can go on forever and ever. They've got more than deep enough pockets. The general mindset of the global population is just distracted generally from either being in the dumps, drowning in debt, or just, their faces stuck in their phones. So there's no urgency for this. This could technically go on forever. They can keep silver where it is, whether you like it or not. That's not going to be a problem. And then my next question I'm going to pose and put out there is, what do the wealthy stack versus the non-wealthy? These questions I'm putting out there is helping you maybe put some points into your head, or questions you're not asking yourself when you're thinking, should I just buy silver now because it's the 90-to-1 ratio? Stop taking the ratio into account, something I don't do. So when you ask yourself that, what do the wealthy versus the non-wealthy stack? These are the simple questions you need to ask yourself and go do a bit of research into, and then you'll come back and you'll find out, well, hey, I know some wealthy people, I know some dealers that also stack, and I can tell you now, all favor gold over silver. Once again, I stack both. I went in extremely heavy on gold and silver first, and I'm catching myself back up now with silver. So putting that question out there whenever you're looking at which one to go for, taking that into account is also another thing that needs to be put out there. So when we're looking at this and we're asking ourselves, it's a no-brainer really, 90-to-1, 90-to-1. It's not, because the 90-to-1, from what I understand, how a lot of people see it, is if you're going to be making some more extra money, as I show the 1 gold ounce here, is that anything can happen on the next run. I have never personally done a trade or a swap where I've been working off the ratio. I've done a trade or swap maybe by accident when it's been involving a collector coin. And I've been able to flip that with intentions because of the current price of the coin, taking into account that it's a collectible coin. So it appreciated over time. Then I was able to flip it and put it back into something of more of my foundation coins. I personally to date have never done a trade where I've looked at the ratio and thought to myself, it's looking like this. I don't think I'll be able to successfully pull a good one off because of the prices that I've picked up the silver over the time, taking the premiums into account, and just currently how non in favor it would be for myself. I think if the best time you was going to do it would be a time like now. Believe you me, dealers are constantly evolving and having to change their play because I think they're being squeezed also with the current market. Maybe a lot of people ain't into physical at the moment. You may think it may be many. I know a lot of the wealthy are more into the paper version, paper variant, but who knows? But currently, just looking at the way it is right now, I wouldn't bank on, it being, who knows, we could have current prices at whatever they may be. A gold ounce may be $2,000. A silver ounce may be, give or take, $25, $30. And then dealers are just sitting there with open arms saying, we'll take whichever silver you've got. We know, we've spoke about that many times. We'll take your generic ounces, bring one, bring all, and we'll give you however many. It may not be the bang on, but you'll be a couple of pennies short regardless. If spot price has increased, you're still going to gain overall in the long run, so it's not going to make that much of a major difference. And do that. I think dealers are well aware of that scenario. And, if at the time it's not working in, silver's favor, well then if your local coin store isn't taking your silver because they may not need it or they may have more than enough, your next step then is the larger online dealers, largest, we all know whose name we shall not mention at Rex. If they was to then say, for instance, we're currently not taking none, we're selling more, well then where does that leave you? Well, you'd be even more of a hard place if the larger dealers set the trend stating that they wasn't taking and your local coin store, for instance, was only taking what they could liquidate more than easily enough. What I'm getting at is that to date, I've known a few people who done the gold silver ratio swap and it wasn't planned. They purchased many decades ago and just thought to themselves they would sell it then, and the ratio was what it was, but ultimately they picked up the silver at a much cheaper price. That's the main thing that I focus on. I don't really focus on the ratio at all. From how I see it, the power play there is going to be, when the time comes, you're going to be able to convert. I personally would never bank on that. One, it's not set in stone. Two, anybody I've seen screaming it or regurgitating it has no idea what's going on. I don't think they've even sold any metals. I've sold more than enough metals now, done more than enough trades, and conversed with more than enough dealers to understand it's not as open and shut as many may think. You may think it's as simple as, hey, I've got this. What you should do is go to some channels where, and I've had guys comment, I've had guys recently comment where they purchased a load of gold collectible coins and it wasn't as easy to liquidate as they would have thought. See, until you've actually done a test run or communicated or spoke or listened to somebody that has done that, you could really save yourself a lot of pain because you don't know what's around the corner. So it's best to prepare and plan for both. Once again, main moral of this video here is that you should be taking both into account, regardless of what the gold to silver ratio is. If your funds allow you to, pick up which one you want to pick up at the time, but do as much research into both into both gold and silver. Don't let your research be based off the main pumper's advice on why you should pick this up and because you can flip it like that, because there's no proof that that's going to happen. Believe you me, the absolute opposite can happen, and that's what I'm getting at. So the next question I would put out there is, right now, where is your money more secure if you needed to sell now? So if you had a whole bunch of silver and some gold, if you had to sell right now, where would your money be more secure? Would you lose money on silver selling, or would you lose money on selling gold? Or which would lose more, should I say, because you want to lose on both? Once again, all these questions I'm hoping are very self-explanatory if you can answer yes to them. If you're Mr. Long Term, you're here for the next 50 to 40 years, by all means, none of these questions mean nothing to you. If you're just getting into stacking, really ask yourself these things. For myself, I would say, as of right now, all of my silver I own, the 1,000 upon 1,000 of ounces I own, I could easily, comfortably sit on that for the next 20 years. And should the worst of the worst happen, I wouldn't have to reach out to it. I would say a minimum of 20. You know, if you're not in an extreme comfortable position like that, that's why I can stack as much and still have a strong view against it, even though I do stack it. And, you know, regardless of what happens, my game plan picking up was never built off of the ratio. And I'm not one of those that are saying, although it's definitely an option, should it shoot and they both shoot in sync, i.e. gold shoots first and then silver tags along. You know, some say silver's going to overshoot. It's happy days for everybody. Then it will most definitely be something I'll be taking into account, but I'll be focusing more on price. If price shoots up, well, then I'll be looking at selling, liquidating and holding a portion off. If prices tank and drop, I'm here for the long term. It's a lifestyle for me. This is when you buy low, sell high, right? And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not putting the ratio into any of that equation for myself. If prices tank tomorrow, if silver spot price halved, and not to forget, we're currently on a high spot price, yet the ratio seems to be up. So it's definitely not tanked to the silver spot price. Well, then I'll be purchasing more. You know, I'd put a lot more in and definitely stack up on the both of them. So that's is where we are. And this is just what I wanted to put out there on why you shouldn't be buying the 90-to-1 gold to silver ratio. You should be buying whatever your pocket allows you to buy and whatever you're more comfortable buying, not just built off of that 90-to-1 ratio. I think it's dangerous in that we don't know what's around the corner. So I think you should plan for what you can't see. You know, it's the best form of advice. You know, in the end of the day, ultimately, the video boils down to stack both and try not to regurgitate what a lot of the bumpers / sellers are putting out there. And then, you know, you have some on YouTube who are doing videos who have technically turned into that. It's easy to, you know, mainly focus your videos and put silver out there, smash silver on the front, put a close-up shot, and know that you're going to get more attention. Anybody that does these types of vlogging videos knows that. It's a fact. You know, you slash silver on there and there's a larger silver crowd. Yes, it appeals also to a larger audience that don't have as much money because they believe they can get a lot more bang for their buck. But regardless of how you look at it, if you're just looking at it like that, you can get smaller sizes. You know, it can be underwhelming, but you need to rise above that and just think of what you're really stacking both for. So ultimately, don't get caught in the silver tongue lies or the silver booby traps or webs, and look at them both. I'm not smashing one after the other, but what I am smashing is this theory that, you know, this trade's going to be ever so easy. I've done a lot of trades, flips, pumps, dumps, you name it. I've done it when we're talking metals. I've picked up a lot, I've sold a lot, and I can't see it playing out that way. But I would love to know if you do see it playing out that way, and if you could break it down and let me know how you view this. So, you know, please do go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments. Ultimately, the main questions I put out there is that, yes, I do see silver stackers being a lot more emotional. And I did give my examples of that, even though there's a larger history of people getting wrecked in silver. You know, we all know about the Incredible Hulk stackers when it goes bad for silver. Another question I put out there is, what do the wealthy versus the non-wealthy stack, silver or gold? These things you can just look up on yourself. And then the next one I put up is, where's your money more secure right now? Or if you had to sell right now, you know, what would you lose more on, your gold or your silver? You know, all self-explanatory, or hopefully you can answer for yourself. But once again, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. And if you've got anything else to add on to this, go ahead and do that in the comments. So I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. So hate or love it, please let me know what you think of this and leave your thoughts in the comments. Once again, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll catch you guys on the rebound.